just as an estimate.
We set out for an even dozen, no less. What do you say to that?
A dozen would be just right. Would it be okay to have half boys and half girls?
If that's what you want, we'll plan it that way. Excuse me a minute while I make a note of it. Don't forget to have 6 boys and 6 girls.
Providence Christian School presents Cheaper by the Dozen
by Frank D. Gilbreth Jr. and Ernestine Gilbreth. It is a true story of a family raised in the early 20th century. Frank is a motion study expert and deems it necessary to educate his family and all around him on the principles he has studied. Frank and his wife are the proud parents of 12 children.
Anne, Mary, Ernestine, Martha, Frank, Bill, Will, Fred, Dan, Jack, Paul, and Jude.
Proud of his family and new horseless carriage, Frank decides to take them all on a ride.
Didn't have any trouble. Didn't have any trouble except for that one over there. But a spanking brought him in line.
It's not one of ours, dear. He belongs to the neighbor.
So, how many of you want to go for a ride? Get ready while I bring the car around to the front of the house.
Mother, he's got my shirt. Make him give it back to me.
Mother, can I sit up front with you? I never get to sit up front.
It's mine. She wore mine yesterday.
How many of you need to visit Mrs. Murphy?
Mrs. Murphy, another name for going to the bathroom.
Finally, off we start.
Not so fast, Frank! Not so fast!
Hey, what's the matter back there? I thought I told you to keep everybody quiet. I said quiet, and I mean quiet.
I'm trying to make them stop that, but nobody's listening to me.
I want order. I don't want any excuses. From now on, I don't want to hear a single sound from back there. You want to walk home? I know it's not your fault, Lily. Things would have been a whole lot easier had we all boys, as I suggested, instead of starting out with the girls. Of course, we ought to keep them. They might come in handy to wash the pots and pans or mend the socks for the men.
I have to visit Mrs. Murphy.
Local filling stations weren't sanitary, so the only alternative was...
We seem to stop at every promising clump of trees. Mother, take the girls to the woods on one side of the road, and I'll take the boys to the woods on the other. I know every piece of flora and fauna from Bangor, Maine to Washington, D.C.
We made quite a sight as we passed through cities and villages. This was the part Dad liked best of all.
I'm going to enjoy this. Keep eyes and ears open and let me do the talking. No silly cowlicks. Keep shoulders straight and look alive.
I don't think this is a good idea, dear. The children are conceited enough as it is.
Good morning, miss.
Are those your children, or is this a picnic?
My children? And it was no picnic.
I see. 11 of them.
You missed the second baby up front here.
How do you grow them, Carrot Top's brother?
These aren't so much. You ought to see the ones back at my garden.
Just look at those poor, adorable little children. Don't they look sweet? How old are you, dear? Does it hurt when your mother spanks you? You mean your mother never spanks you? Well, how about your father? Does your mother pay more attention to the other children than you? How many baths do you take a week? Do you think it would be nice to have another baby brother?
Auga!
Goodness!
Leave them in stitches, that's us.
Really, Daddy, it's so embarrassing to go riding. We always make them see.
We might as well show them what a real family looks like. And no one talks unless the subject is of general interest.
Honestly, we have the stupidest boy in our history class. Is he cute?
Not of general interest.
Well, I'm interested.
Now, if Anne had seen a boy with 2 heads in history class, now that would have been of general interest. The successful man knows something about everything. I'm going to teach you all to multiply 2-digit numbers in your head.
Not of general interest. Frankly, Dad did not drive our car well at all, but he did drive it fast. We'd seen him nick fenders, knock down full-grown trees, square away the traffic police, and slaughter chickens! Although Dad's driving was filled with peril, there was a strange fascination in our brushes with death. It wasn't the kind of thing you would have initiated yourself, but you wouldn't have wanted to miss.
Not so fast, Frank. Not so fast.
For the love of Mike, Lily, I was only doing 20.
Maybe so, dear, maybe so.
There's 5 coming from the left, Dad.
2 coming from the rear, motorcycle approaching from the stern.
We can make it.
I see them. I see them. Don't you have any confidence in your father?
Roads weren't marked very well in those days, and Dad hadn't believed in signs anyway. But he wouldn't listen to directions either, and then he'd get lost.
Probably some kid chased those directions around. Seems to me if we head the way the arrow says, we'd be heading back right where we came from. Road hog! Road hog!
6/10 of a mile past Windmill, Bear left that brick church and followed the paved road.
Oh, that must be the wrong windmill. No telling when the fellow who wrote that book came over this road to check up on things. My sense of direction tells me to turn right. Your mother hasn't a very good sense of direction. She blames me when we get lost. Now, you read to me just like it says. And don't be making anything up about windmills that aren't there or non-existent brick churches just to confuse you.
Activism, Mrs. Murphy!
A sick person drags down the performance of the entire group. You've been given help. It's your job. Keep it. All right, Lily. I guess you better stop eating. You pick out a good place for a picnic.
While we were eating, Dad kept looking around for something that might be interesting. He was a natural teacher, believed in utilizing every minute.
Kids, look! Hand hill. See, they all work and they don't waste anything. Look at the teamwork as the 4 of them try to move that piece of meat. That's motion steady vote. Now, take out your notebooks. Kids, look. What do you see?
It's a tree.
Yes, kids, take a look at it. Study it. What else do you see?
Gather all the sandwich wrappings into the trash and the leftovers in the lunchbox.
Yes, if there's anything I can't stand, it's a sloppy camp. We shouldn't leave a single scrap of paper on this man's property. Don't see how you children can possibly clutter up the place the way you do.
That's not our mess, Daddy. You know that as well as we do. What would we be doing with empty soda bottles and last year's copy of the Hartford Current?
That's what I'd like to know. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Oh, I'm not going to do another day like this, and we're in a hurry. I've seen dogs pay less attention to trees.
While we were returning from a particularly trying picnic, the engine balked, coughed, spat, and stopped. Dad ordered everyone out of the car, which was overheated and steamed.
Everyone out of the car. It's overheated and steamed.
Then he walked over to the engine, raised the hood, and rolled up his sleeves. Nobody had noticed a bit, but Bill had crawled into the front seat, and then...
Oh, yeah.
Who did that?
That was a good joke on you, Daddy.
There is a time.
Right now is the happiest time in the world.
We're going to have a wonderful life, Lily. A wonderful,